This time at Lucky Crow, we're working on the passenger side getting started on sheet metal repair. Now while this guy is shuffling cars around, let's find out a little bit of information about the car. This is an Austin Healey Sprite. The car was British Racing Green before I started sanding on it. The guy would like it painted back to British Racing Green and have all the rust repair taken care of and the interior.
Okay, so next step, we're going to go ahead and cut the rocker off the other car and figure it out as we go. So the rocker that I need off of here, I don't need it but to about here, but I'm going to go ahead and zip it off over here, give myself plenty to work with. I cut out the other section because it's still got good sheet metal. I want to retain this edge on the car so I don't have to reconstruct it. And I wasn't quite sure how well all of this was. I didn't want to go all the way to the spot welds because it looks like trash over here. So I think I'm just going to lop the whole thing off, separate what I need, and we'll go from there. Don't you love when that happens? So this is what we've got to work with. Get out of here, cricket. Just gotta cut off what we need. I'll probably cut this off way long right here on the corner. I'll cut it with alignment after I tack it on down here, you know, make it a lot easier for myself for that long weld. And I got to separate the whole inner fender off of it. And this was torched or cut at one point. Looks like it was a torch. So maybe I'll get lucky and I can use this spot weld flange here. Can't expect everything. So I need to finish cutting this right here. Try and see if I can get this off. And then there's this spot weld flange down here that we need to save. There is 2 pieces of metal there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and zip this off and then see what we can do with a hammer and chisel. Zip this off right through here. Okay, so next step, need to get all of this other edge of the flange off of there. I just need this piece of sheet metal and this inner piece here. I'm going to go ahead and take it off, just drill the spot welds, try not to murder it too bad, and because we're going to need this section here. Yes, Mom, I'm wearing PPE. I went ahead and put a flange on it. Real basic, I just used a body hammer and this piece of frame sitting here beside me with a square corner. And I wanted to see if I needed to move the flange at all. And I think that's pretty good. That's a tight fit right there. Go ahead and clean this off and get it tacked on. What's going on there? It's pretty soft. Let's try the pry bar. I'd much rather pull it out too far, tap it back in. Not a big deal. I need to try and flatten that out real quick. I'm gonna go get my block. Can weld it and then push it in and then weld it to that other panel back there. I think that that's probably what I'm doing. I'm just going to tack and crawl with it. If you can read your heat in the panel, you can use it to help make adjustments on things. I'm going to stick this pry bar in behind it and kind of use it as an anvil. Pull it out a little bit. It's pretty well lined up with the shape. Not going for picture perfect finish here. It's more or less just to help it be where it needs to be. It's looking pretty dang good. Just gonna have to flex it. Get it closer as I go. You don't want to go all the way out to the end first, because then you could end up with a high spot and you'd have to compress the metal and you could get weird tensions and stuff. So I'm going to tack it with alignment as I go. And it's got the edges pretty well lined up. Now I got to bring the bottom in. It's pulled out a little bit with heat. Not a big deal. My flange looks a little bit off there on the bottom. I'll tap that in as well. I think first what I'm going to do is push this back to this other piece of sheet metal behind it, tack it, and get it in place. So you can see I've got quite a bit of excess right here, and what the problem is I don't have this flange here yet. I'm not sure if I want to bend that over, cut this flange off and bend it over to use it as part of this tack strip here. I'm going to cut as much of this off the other car as I can and not necessarily only use sheet metal off the other car, but we got to fit it as we go, and it'll make it a lot easier, keep you from making mistakes. Now we have the repair panel cut from the other car, but we've got to notch this to fit inside of here and slowly make everything fit up. We need to redo this flange on this side, reconstruct it with a piece taken from here, and then cut it to fit, line everything up, fill the spot welds, prep this panel. I'm going to go ahead and strip it down. And we got to fill these little holes. Do a little bit of body work right here where either I messed it up or it had a ding in it, and we'll get started. It's not the best tool in the world, but this little pad here is an angle grinder attachment for 4.5, 5 inch, whatever these are, sanding discs. I found this at, I'm not sponsored, down at the Harbor Freight, and they work great. As long as you don't use the leading edge too much, you can keep it mostly flat. It'll work great for stripping. It'll take a little bit less time than using like a DA or a pneumatic DA, which I've used as well. If you use the leading edge too much, it'll kill the edge of the pad, and then your sandpaper won't sit on there right. Let me show you. And then your pads or your sandpaper will start flying off. Ask me how I know. These are, I've had 2 of them now. I think they're less than $7. They're pretty reasonable. I have tried Harbor Freight's PSA adapter pads on there, and that's a no-go. But using Velcro, it works out just fine. we're going to go ahead and weld this on. It does still need a little bit more shaping, but we can take care of that as we go. The majority of the problem was trying to get it to fit with the panel to where the panel would come up into alignment. The name of the game here is kind of fit as you go. I'm cutting on the end of the panel and cutting through the original panel as well at the same time. When doing that, it does still leave an 1/8 inch gap because of the width of the wheel. But sometimes that's the best you can do, and it's a good trade-off. Ensuring the panel's up in place, I'm going to mark not all the way on the edge, but somewhere along where I feel like the panel behind it is going to cross over. It was a little droopy on that side, and I noticed I didn't come quite out at the same distance from the top on the other end, so I'm drawing another one to try and give myself a middle point. Just as before, I'm cutting through both panels at the same time. See how much I had left there? I kind of put myself a line in the middle to allow myself some wiggle room. I wanted to leave the most on there that I could just for straight edge reference, I guess. And it makes me more comfortable that way. I just got to finish cutting the parent, and then see how it goes from there. For some reason, my camera has some kind of tracking motion put on. I need to figure out how to turn that off. Sorry about that. When you're tacking on a panel like this, you kind of have to think ahead a little bit. If I start welding from this side and don't pay attention to the left side, it's very easy to let the heat pull it in different directions and pull you out of alignment, and where my thumb is, that corner will get trapped and you'll never be able to get that welded. You kind of need to figure out your key areas first and then do everything else. I had a little bit of overlap there, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it back. The key areas to pay attention to in this case would be the top right corner, the corner where it needs to sit flat, where I'm welding right now, the bottom of the rocker panel, and somewhere close to the spot weld flange to make sure that all that lines up. Turn my gas up.
Next time on the Austin Healey project, try and scavenge a wheeler and try and get this other car all wrapped up. See you next time.